Today we're doing a tri-tip, and it's actually an awesome piece of meat. Versatile. You could cut it into steaks. You could roast it in the oven. You could grill it. You could do anything with it. The best part is it was on sale for $10.25 for this whole piece of meat, which is almost 3 pounds, $3.77 a pound, when it's normally $8.99 a pound. So you wait for these deals to come out, and you got a nice piece of meat for, about $10. It's awesome. You could feed 5-6 people with this thing. The first thing that you want to do is when you first let it get to room temperature. Just it's easier to deal with. It cooks more evenly. I would let it sit for no less than an hour, maybe an hour and a half. You take it out, put it on a cutting board. This one is trimmed already, so if it wasn't trimmed, basically you could feel the fat, and if you feel any fat that may be a little hard, I would just cut that piece out because it usually doesn't render very well, and it tends to be chewy. So I will cut little hard pieces of fat out. If it's soft, it's going to render, and it's just going to fill the piece of meat with some flavor, actually a lot of flavor. So that's done. I got some salt, actually sea salt. I like sea salt. Actually kosher salt's the best because you can actually see it better when it goes on, so you can regulate a little bit better on how much salt you're putting in it. So nice little, I'm not going to use it all. I'm going to use one hand, the other hand, pinch it, and from way up top, this is how far up you should be doing this. You want to spread the salt out, and the higher you go, the more surface area you get. This is a very big piece of meat, so you could be quite generous with the salt because it usually goes down into the meat and flavors it a lot nicer. So I'm going to use that whole thing. So I got the salt on there. And let's see what's next. Pepper. Do I have pepper? Yeah, better have pepper. It's in my cupboard right here. Actually, that looks pretty almost empty. So the good thing about pepper is you can see it a lot better than salt. So I'm going to just pepper this thing up like that. That's nice. And I always love to add some garlic powder onto this because it makes it taste better. You don't want it too garlicky, but you want to taste it on that skin. It also helps it brown. It sears it really nice. That side's done. Flip it over. Clean my hands off a little bit. The reason why I do that is because I'm going to put salt in it. I don't want it to stick to my fingers. Same thing here. High, salting high. It's not going to be too salty, trust me. It's a big piece of meat. Alright. Salt, back to the pepper. Uh-oh. Hope I have more pepper in here. Yeah, let's check it out. I do. Alright. There we go. It's actually better pepper too. Nice pepper. And garlic powder. From high, right? High up. There you go. Now, I'm noticing that there's not that much fat on here, so I'm probably going to just put a little bit of olive oil on it just to kind of get it seared a little faster because I want to cook most of this thing in the oven. So feel free, make sure your hands are clean. Olive oil, and you know what? From high up. A little bit, that's it. And then just kind of move it around a little bit. Just to kind of get that salt, pepper, and garlic in there too. All sides. The whole thing. Flip it. Same dealio. A little bit. All right. let that sit for a little bit, and I'm gonna go over to the stovetop, and we'll get started over there. All right, we're over at the stovetop area. Tri-tips right there, looking all nice. I have this cast iron like flat top grill type deal. If you don't have one of these, it's fine. You could use just a skillet with cast iron's the best, I think. But if you don't have it, like I said, skillet is fine. So basically, this has been on for a while. This cast iron. To see how hot it is, I'm going to come back over to the sink, turn some water on, put it on my hand, come over, and just shoot it out. I want to hear that. If I hear that, then it's ready. I'm going to take the tri-tip over here, and I'm going to put it on the fat side down first. Alright? Hear that? That's what we want to hear. And just so you know, before I did that, I am preheating my oven at 325. I'm going to keep this on here for maybe about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Alright, that should be good enough. We don't want to burn it. We'll take the thing, the tri-tip, and we'll flip it over. That's how it looks like already. And it's not cooked, it's still completely raw. But we're just kind of searing it. We're going to sear this other side too, the third side right after. That this fits. Boom. It's a little big here. I have a magic tool, but if you don't have it, it's fine. But I find it to be quite a bit easier to cook this thing with one of these guys. Alright, so basically I wanted to take this out when it's 130 degrees. 80 degrees in my kitchen right now. We're going to put this in to the thickest part of the steak. Now, the thickest part technically is over here on this side, but since I have this steak in this thing, basically I'm going to look at the sides and figure out what side is the thickest, and it is right here. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in there into the thickest part. All right, and actually not all the way down. I want to put it, pull it up into the middle a little bit, okay? Right now it's very cold in that steak. If you can see, it's still going down, 60 degrees, so it's not cooked at all, right? It's going to even go down further probably, maybe. Yep, there we go. All right, so I'm going to now take this guy, stick her in the oven. That cord stays and it hooks up onto here, and we keep this over here, and the alarm will go off when it gets to, whoa, it turned to 160. We don't want it 160. We want it 130. We'll figure it out. All right, so we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we're at 130 degrees. It's been, about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. I'll get the correct time once I get in there. Let me turn this guy off. And let's take this bad boy out. Looking nice. Looks actually really nice. So, what I'll do now is I'll take this thermometer, and I'm actually going to look at it's going to keep on rising the temperature. And I'm going to go in. Actually, I'm touching the bottom there. That's where that's going. Alright, so we are done here with this thing, and it's cooked perfectly, hopefully. I'm going to let it sit, and let me flip it to see how we look on the other side. Looks good. Let me get the cutting board. And I'm going to put this on the cutting board to let it rest. This needs to rest, I would say, for 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to put this bad boy over here, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes. Alright, it's now time to slice this thing up. Now slicing, you got to see how the grain is running. I don't know if we could see that very well. Let me bring this camera down. So, you see how the grain is running? We want to cut across that grain, but it also changes when we get to the other side. So you see it's kind of running this way here. It's running this way here. So we got to keep in mind of which way the grain is running. We want to cut against that grain area. It produces a lot more tender piece of meat when we do that. So right here, we could get away with cutting it kind of like on this angle. I don't know if I like this knife. I may use... Yeah, I'm going to use a different knife. It's hard to do this with this knife, and I bought it because I just thought it was really sharp, but it doesn't do a good job. This knife does a good job. Now, it's not going to be as red on this part because it's a lot thinner, but once we get into the middle of here is when you'll get nice rare pieces of meat. And that's why I like tri-tip, because everyone could have their choice, well done or rare. And that's a good piece of meat right there. It's juicy. It cuts very nicely. And it tastes wonderful. Alright, so that's it. That's our tri-tip. And it looks great. Thanks for watching. Please like this video or subscribe. Thank you. And or subscribe. Even better.